Take a move in the ring. You can hit me with the words you fling.
Okay, what's up, everybody? It's South China Morning Post. Nick Atkin here in Bangkok, Thailand, at Lumpini Stadium. One Fight Night 12 is done and dusted. I got the man who just won the co-main event, the Lion Killer, Garry Tonon, in the house. $50,000 richer. Big win over Shamil Gasanov. You're banged up, but you're happy, aren't you?
Oh, absolutely, man, absolutely. You know, of course, like, you know, in some regards, like, of course, I would have wished that it was a cleaner victory, and you know, you go out there and you just beat the crap out of the guy. I think that's what we all hope as fighters. I think at least any of the sane ones, anyway. That's what we hope for. You know, we try to keep my head as safe as possible. But you know, that's the name of the game. This is what we're doing. We're fighting, and of course, I'm going to take some damage sometimes, and. You know, I was saying this in one of the previous interviews that, you know, a part of getting involved in martial arts is learning how to defend yourself and being able to work through tough times and then come back and you know, be able to be dominant after that, be able to overcome adversity. And I got to show that in this fight. Hopefully I don't have to do it every single fight, but, you know, having a couple fights like that isn't the worst thing in the world. Definitely, you know, is a good bid for your confidence, and also, you know, just shows your heart and your character, and you know, I think I showed that out there tonight. So
yeah, and he came with a lot of hype, you know, very highly rated for good reason. Shamil, you just knocked him off. You defended that spot in the rankings. Do you feel like you proved some doubters wrong today?
Yeah, absolutely. I think this is a super important fight from a couple different perspectives. Like I said, you know, undefeated guy, double digits. Like I say all the time, anybody that's able to get double digits undefeated, I don't care how, you know, quote unquote padded somebody might say somebody's record is. It's a tough thing to do. This is a crazy sport. All kinds of crazy things can happen. You get hit by anything at any moment. Anybody can get knocked out. So, you know, I think anybody, I don't care where they are, they're double digits undefeated. That's a damn tough guy. They're doing something right. And he's doing a lot of things right, you know. So I think that was really impressive. I think the other thing that was really impressive and important to watch was, you know, I think it's been a big question mark how to deal with some of these Russian Dagestani wrestling type fighters. And, you know, hell, it was for sure an amazing and incredible style, and I had a really tough time with it. But, you know, I think the recipe there is, you know, you got to submit these guys. You got to have those good breaking mechanics. You got to be able, you know, as they're trying to wrestle you and grapple you, you got to be able to get them back, man. I don't think there's any getting around it. You know, I don't think there's getting away from these guys. You know, they're gonna find a way to get a hold of you, and when they do, you got to submit them.
Yeah, one of your patented moves there you got him with. Were you surprised? What were you thinking? Because we weren't sure if he was going to tap. You know, you thought he might hang on in there, but you didn't hear it, right? Or you heard it, you didn't feel it.
Yeah. So initially, when I locked it up, it appeared as though he wasn't interested in tapping. But I hadn't gotten to the point where we were at a full break yet. It was basically at full extension. So I could understand not tapping at full extension. I had to go foot over foot, which is the most dominant form of that move in terms of breaking mechanics. When I did, I started to feel the knee crunch, very similar to other times I had applied that move in competitions. Two or three other times I've done that in competition and gotten pretty severe breaks. I heard him scream, but I couldn't visibly see him tapping. So I didn't know how they were going to do that in MMA. In ADCC, if someone screams, they have to say the word tap in order for the match to stop. And apparently in mixed martial arts, I guess the referee will come in when he hears that. I was just informed. But yeah, as always, I think as professionals, what we do, and you'll see this when guys are punching, you'll see this when guys are applying submissions. You know, when the referee, you know, pulls you off or, you know, stops the fight, that's when you stop. And I think the opponent knows that. I think you know that. And that's what we got involved in. We're professionals. And of course, I had no intention of holding on to a submission after, you know, after the match is over. But as a professional, you have to wait until the action is stopped by the referee, just so there's no funny business and, you know, you don't let go of something. Like, oh, he tapped. You don't want to have to deal with any of that kind of stuff. So, yeah.
All right, well, Garry, I relayed a message from Martin to you pre-fight. I'm going to relay another one to you now, post-fight.
Yes.
He wants to do you guys for an interim title. Are you down?
Yeah, hell yeah, let's do it, you know. Like I said, I've been asking for that fight for a long time. I think it's the most important fight in the division, no matter whether he has the title or not. Martin Nguyen is the guy to beat. You know, there's no question about that. The title is one part of dominating the division, and beating Martin Nguyen is the other part of it. You got to have both.
Well, he did also want me to tell you he was low-key rooting for you and he's very happy for you. So it's not all disrespect or anything like that.
I never found him to be disrespectful. You know, I've been watching him my whole career, and I'm very impressed by all of his victories. I'm sure he feels similarly about myself, although, you know, when we get in a cage, we're not going to be so nice to each other. And I'm sure he knows that, and I know that. You know, but at the end of the day, as looking from the outside, you know, as athletes, I think we could both appreciate, you know, each other's skills. So, yeah, it's a cool thing to be able to do that in martial arts, to be able to recognize that, but still want to kill each other.
Well, I've watched, you know, most of your journey in one championship, and, you know, it was rise, and then there was a big stall, and now I feel you're back on track. Does it feel like that to you? You kind of got a bit of redemption now. I know you already beat Johnny in January, but does this feel like that moment you got things back on track?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, not just back on track, but just like get fighting again consistently. You know, COVID was a big, you know, big hit to everybody in terms of, you know, their career and being able to have fights and all these sorts of things. It's very difficult all around the world for everybody to continue doing what they wanted to do. It definitely stopped a lot of momentum and a lot of different things. Yeah, from your perspective that you were just talking about, for sure, but from the perspective of continuing my career and continuing to get experience, you know, one fight after another, it's tough, man. Back in grappling, I compete twice a month, you know, and mixed martial arts, it's hard to compete that much. It's very difficult to do. So, you know, you can only get maybe 3-4 in a year, but that's what you're shooting for. You know, you're shooting to get that, you know, especially for me, you know, being a younger fighter and somebody who hasn't been doing this as long as some of the other guys, I want to get as much fight experience as I possibly can. So it's nice to be able to have the opportunity to do that. And, of course, great to win.
Yeah. Well, we don't know if it's going to be Martin. We don't know if you could go straight to Tan Kai. How about that? Would you like to just go right to the main title?
Hell yeah. Always looking for that title shot. I say this every single time I'm interviewed. I've been ready, you know, since my first title shot. It didn't go so well for me, but I was ready. I'm ready now. You know, we could do it right now if we need to. But it'd be nice to have a little rest. But, yeah, no, for sure. I'm ready for that title fight if they send it my way. I know there's a bunch. You know, it's so tough. This division has so many incredible fighters that are very, very dangerous. They finish fights. They're fun to watch, you know, so there's so many exciting matchups. I don't blame them for having a tough time kind of figuring out, you know, who's going to be next in line for the title and who's going to fight who. It's going to be great pretty much no matter what for the fans.
What about Tan Le? Do you need to get that one back before all is said and done, or, you know, do you still think about that loss?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I think that, you know, I mentioned that, you know, beating Martin Nguyen and winning the title were, you know, the two things that you need to do in the division. But for me personally, because I have a loss to Thon, I obviously need to get that back as well. So for me, there's three pieces to this puzzle, no doubt. Yeah, so of course I'll need to get that loss back. You know, hopefully, you know, that will happen sooner rather than later. But again, you know, all of these things are on the list. I can't really, you know, like I said, I want the title, no doubt. That's obviously number one on the list, but everything else is right there floating around, and I'm ready to, you know, crush those obstacles and those goals. So, you know, excited to have that rematch whenever they give it to me.
All right, well, that's about it, Garry. Thank you so much for speaking to us, and hopefully we see you back here soon for an interim title fight or a title fight, one way or the other. Thank you.
Hello, everybody. Dom Lau here from One Championship. You are tuned into the best damn martial arts news outlet anywhere in Asia. SCMP Martial Arts, baby. Give them a follow.